The phosphorescent slime clung to Silva's boots, a sickly green sheen under the anemic light of Kepler 186f. His breath hitched in his throat, a rasp against the comms. Processor secure, Lieutenant. Perimeter sweep complete. Nothing. Jessa Chen's voice, tight with suppressed anxiety, crackled in his ear. Raise, status on the colony energy signature. A nervous tremor ran through Ray's voice. Still muted, Lieutenant. Almost suppressed, like someone actively shut it down. Unlikely, Chen snapped, her voice betraying her unease. Colony power grid still just shut down. Report anomalies. Run diagnostics. Raise, asterisk to asterisk your job. The silence that followed was punctuated only by the hiss of their oxygen regulators and the persistent squelch of their boots in the phosphorescent slime. Thorne hadn't spoken in the last 10 minutes. He stood at the edge of the central plaza, his gaze fixed on the monolith that dominated the landscape. It shimmered, a distorted reflection of the alien sky, and seemed to hum with a low, resonant frequency that vibrated in their chests. Lieutenant Thorne's voice, when it came, was different. Slower, deeper, lacking the familiar edge of command. The energy isn't suppressed. It's harmonized. Chen frowned. Harmonized? What are you talking about, Sergeant Major? Thorne didn't answer. He just kept staring at the monolith, swaying slightly as if pulled by an invisible current. Suddenly, a flicker of movement in the periphery. Ray's gasped. A strangled sound. Xenos. Contact. They materialized from the phosphorescent haze, elongated figures with thin limbs and enormous, black eyes. Their skin was the same sickly green as the slime that coated the ground. They moved with an unsettling grace, gliding rather than walking. Weapons fire! Chen barked, snapping back into command. Silva reacted instantly, unleashing a volley of pulse rounds. One xeno staggered but quickly recovered. The weapons seemed to be adapted to the environment, somehow deflecting or absorbing the energy blasts. Armor is not holding, Lieutenant. We need to fall back, Silva shouted, firing again. Rays, paralyzed by fear, fumbled with his weapon. A xeno darted forward, its long, thin fingers closing around his throat. He choked, his eyes wide with terror, and fell silent. Rays! Chen screamed, but it was too late. Silva swung his weapon, narrowly avoiding a grasping xeno limb, and fired a burst at another. He felt a searing pain in his leg and collapsed, clutching his wound. Silva, status. Chen's voice was tight with panic. Silva grunted. Legs down. Cans move. Chen spun, scanning the plaza. Thorne remained motionless, his gaze still fixed on the monolith. He seemed oblivious to the chaos unfolding around him. Sergeant Major, we need your support, Chen yelled. Thorne slowly turned his head, his eyes unfocused. Peace, he murmured, his voice almost hypnotic. Such beautiful peace. One of the xenos lunged at Chen, its fingers reaching for her throat. She managed to dodge it, firing a desperate volley of shots. But her movements were sluggish, her reflexes dulled. She stumbled, her vision blurring. I can, she gasped, her voice fading. The comms went silent. Thorne took a step toward Chen, his sway motion more pronounced now. His eyes were glazed over, reflecting the shimmering surface of the monolith. Join us, he whispered, his voice a haunting echo. Become one. He reached out a hand toward the xenos, and they didn't attack. Instead, they mirrored his gesture, their long, thin fingers extended in an invitation. A strange luminescence began to emanate from Thorne's skin, matching the sickly green of the slime and the xenos. He began to levitate, slowly rising towards the monolith. Silva, struggling to his knees, watched in horror. What's happening to him? The xenos began to chant, a low, resonant hum that mingled with the monolith's frequency. Thorne's form began to distort, merging with the light and the chant. He became a conduit, a bridge between the monolith, the xenos, and something else. Then, just as suddenly as it began, it stopped. The chanting ceased. The light subsided. Thorne hung suspended in midair, his body shimmering with an unearthly glow. He opened his eyes, but they were no longer his. They were black, empty voids that seemed to absorb all light. All is one, he intoned, his voice now a chorus of whispers. He turned his gaze toward Silva, and Silva felt a wave of nausea wash over him. He knew, with a chilling certainty, that he was the only one left. He fumbled for his comms, desperately trying to reach out, but there was nothing but static. Then he, too, began to sway. End of Chapter 5.